Okay, the bill has arrived. Members, we're ready to rock and roll. We still have one adjourned in memory. Ms. Lowenthal. We have second reading. We have the consent calendar. Business on the daily file. Second reading. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 337 with amendments 599 with amendments 621 with amendments 131 with amendments 41 with amendments 715 with amendments 457 with amendments 300 with amendments 420 with amendments 534 with amendments and Senate Bill 576 with amendments.
All bills will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Okay, while members are reassembling, Ms. Lowenthal has an adjourned in memory. Ms. Lowenthal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tonight, I rise to adjourn in memory of equal rights pioneer and Long Beach native Jean Harris. Jean was a dedicated public servant and tireless advocate for equality. She began her work with the Democratic Party in 1971 and went on to serve as a key figure in the election of a number of LGBT candidates in the early 90s, including our very own Assemblymember Amiano. In addition to her work on the local level, she worked for Speaker Emeritus Herb Wesson, Speaker Nunez, and Senate President Parada. While her service in this building is notable, it's her advocacy with the California Alliance for Pride and Equality that touched countless lives across the state. In her hometown of Long Beach, the echo of her voice for equal rights still resonates today. We recently had our Pride Parade. It is one of the biggest and best loved in the state, and I really doubt we would be the cosmopolitan, open-minded, diversity-celebrating city that we are without the early, energetic, and indefatigable leadership that Jean provided. Long Beach has for many years provided benefits to same-gender domestic partners, and again, I think you can trace the seeds of that embracing policy back to the leadership of Jean. So I thank you all for joining me in acknowledging and honoring this life well spent, and sending our heartfelt condolences to her partner, Denise, her children, her granddaughter, her siblings, and her mother. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Amiano.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. You know, I can still see Jean in front of me in many circumstances over the years, usually disrupting, usually expressing a very, very forceful opinion, usually upsetting people. But the woman had a heart of gold. She wanted to be with her children more than anything else. She did love and respect her extended family. She was our own, and she's going to be terribly missed. That force of character and those strong personality traits are not as evident today. So, Jean, I thank you so much for all your contributions, all your aggravation, We really did love each other, and we'll miss you very, very much.
Thank you, members. Please bring the name to the desk to be printed in the journal. Mr. Calderon.
Yes, Madam Speaker and members, I request unanimous consent to waive the one-day wait rule and to suspend Assembly Rule 77 to allow Mr. Blumenfield to take up AB 114 for concurrence and Senate amendments without reference to file today.
Without objection. AB 114, without reference to file. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 114 by Assembly Committee on Budget and Act relating to Education, Finance, and making appropriation, therefore, to take effect immediately. Bill related to the budget.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members. Last trailer bill of the evening, I believe. AB 114 is the education trailer bill. It includes K through 12 higher education and child development provisions necessary to implement the 2011-2012 budget. This bill makes statutory changes that conform to the appropriation of state general funds instead of Prop 98 previously funded, instead of the Proposition 98 funds that were previously provided for most child care programs in the 2011-2012 budget bill. Subsequently, Prop 98 funding would be rebenched and child care would be removed from Proposition 98 calculations. The budget bill continues Proposition 98 funding for part-day preschool programs in the 2011-2012 budget. Good news is that this bill keeps the K through 12 programmatic funding at the exact same level of the May revise. But the bill also includes trigger reductions. If revenues fail to be $3 billion above the May revision estimates, the following cuts are triggered on or after January 2nd, 2012. $23 million from an across-the-board reduction to all child care programs, and $30 million to cut community colleges, prompting a potential fee increase of $10 per unit from $36 to $46 per unit. If revenues fail to be $2 billion above the May revision estimate, local education agencies will be authorized to reduce the minimum instructional days and minutes by potentially 7 days to achieve the $1.5 billion in savings. Furthermore, to protect school funding, if there is an election on revenues before November 17, 2012, this bill specifies the prioritization of the expenditures of such funds for education. With that, I ask for your aye vote for this final trailer bill.
Seeing no further questions or debate, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Mr. Speaker moves the call. Okay, members, we're at the second day consent calendar. Does any member wish to remove an item from the second day consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, clerk will read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 11 by Assemblymember Chesbrough relative to California wines.
Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Bill 430.
Ayes 77, no 0.
And Senate Bill 220.
Ayes 77, no 0. The consent calendar is adopted. Mr. Calderon.
Yes, Madam Speaker, by way of announcement, the Assembly Housing and Community Development Committee will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. And also, for members who have bills in Senate Education, Senate Governance, and Senate Labor Committees, those hearings will also begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow instead of 9 a.m.
Okay, the session schedule is as follows. Wednesday, June 29th, check-in session and session upon call of the Speaker. Thursday, June 30th, check-in session and session upon call of the Speaker. Friday, July 1st, session at 9 a.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions shall be continued. We have one bill on call. Okay, we're going to lift the call on AB 114. Clerk will post. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 51, noes 26. Measure passes. Mr. Speaker requests immediate transmittal to the governor's desk. Okay, I'm ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes. Mr. Calderon moves. Ms. Conway seconds that this House stands adjourned until Thursday, June 30th at 9 a.m. or upon call the Speaker. And the Speaker is withholding all vote adds and vote changes. Quorum call is lifted.